Presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox. We are Florida.
Last night, Andrew Heaney made the jump to the bigs, and David Wright welcomed him to the show. That home run, the only blemish on what was a sterling debut. The only problem? Zach Wheeler. He was even better. He threw his first Major League shutout. Tonight, Miami hopes Henderson Alvarez is a stopper. He gets the ball. We got the call. Marlins and Mets. Weekend begins, series continues. Marlins and Mets. This would be game 2. Marlins part the fish back at an even 500. The Mets 7 under. Pitching dominated last night. The hitters trying to loosen up and get some good swings tonight. David Wright had the one swing from last night. That's kind of how the Marlins felt. Dice-K on the hill for the Metropolitans. And Henderson Alvarez, the entertainer for the fish. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz on a night where we're going to talk pitching. It's always good to have a couple hitters, guys that had to face good pitching. Niner, nice to have you here.
Nice to be here.
All right, Tommy Hutton. Let's start with you. Let's start with the debut, much heralded, of Andrew Heaney. What'd you think?
I think everybody was pleased with Andrew Heaney. The 23-year-old really showed some composure out there. May have had a few nerves in that first inning going for him, but was able to utilize the fastball, the slider, and the changeup, which I thought he used better in the latter innings that he pitched. The only other Marlin to lose a 1-0 game in their debut was Brad Hand in 2011. And I think if there's one thing that Andrew Heaney came away with, it's be careful with that slider.
Zach Wheeler was really good, Jeff Conine.
Well, talk about not having any nerves. This guy started off right from the get-go, throwing 96-mile-an-hour fastballs, and every other pitch they had was working to a T. 7 innings was the deepest he's ever gone into a game before last night, and last night a 9-inning complete game shutout.
Okay, so both of you guys left the ballpark in a cold sweat as hitters, and now tonight you show up, and the pitching matchup tonight is a real good one. You start with Henderson Alvarez.
Well, Henderson Alvarez has had tremendous success against the Mets. He pitched a shutout against the Mets earlier this year. So it's always a good feeling to have that confident feeling going against the team that you've had success against.
How do you have success against Dice-K?
Well, first and foremost, you got to lay off the gyro ball, which he calls the split finger, whatever you want to call it. It's a very nasty pitch. He's got 20 less hits than innings pitched right now, so he's tough.
Well, pitchers on the forefront tonight. Silver linings, are you looking for it? Oh, how about the Marlins pen? Kevin Gregg back in a Marlin uniform. We'll explain when we return. Mets and Marlins back at it tonight in Game 2. Let's head out to center field. Craig Minervini, Carl Pavano out there.
All right, thank you very much, Rich. We'll see if the Marlins can tie up this series with the Mets here. Get back some good feelings, some mojo on this homestand with 3 games against the Mets. One key may be the offense. They've been very quiet the last couple of days and really on the homestand so far, Carl.
Yeah, they have. I mean, their last start, the last pitcher, Wheeler, I mean, he was a tough match. I mean, as you see the numbers here, they're cold. But this is a lineup that did show what they're capable of doing when they're hot. And every lineup goes through this. They're a good lineup. They will get out of this.
Had a couple of big games, you recall, against the Pirates, especially with those 9th inning 4-run innings. The one game tied it, scored 6 in a couple of games back-to-back. Now, on the other side, the Marlins are kind of finding with the retooling of the bullpen, with Greg, with Hatcher taking a solid role, Brian Morris, among others, that they're finding their roles, and the bullpen's been much improved, Carl.
And what a great time for them to step up, especially with some of the starters faltering and not going deep in the game. When they're all rolling together, that's when we're going to have a lot of fun.
And obviously you got Cishek to close everything out. So, boy, if you can bridge that gap, and it looks like the Marlins feel much more comfortable now when they're putting that right arm or left arm up to get somebody out of the pen.
They're inching that way to doing that. I mean, look at these stats from the bullpen the last 5 games. I mean, anyone would pay for this right here, and they're doing their job. And without that, where would the team be? So this is what a season's about: picking each other up when the starters aren't. The bullpen is. That's what it's all about.
63 average of runners in scoring position against during that streak. All right, we're ready for baseball here. Game 2 of the series. We'll look for you on the post game as well. Stay with us right here on Fox Sports Florida.
Eric Young Jr., switch hitting left fielder, steps in, and Henderson Alvarez ready to go to work. Pinch a penny brings you the first pitch. Alvarez, of course, with a little old-fashioned dipsy-do, which has become a tradition. He started it in the minor leagues. Wasn't sure why he started it, just figured he'd try it one day, and it's become routine. And there he goes.
I wonder what the opposing bench says to that little move there before they really know what it's all about.
I think guys that know, I'm curious, Niner, every time he does it, he throws a fastball. I haven't seen any hitter jump on it yet.
That's a good point. You would think with video nowadays, and the video guy saying, hey, every time he does that, he throws a fastball. Boy, if I was a leadoff hitter, I'd be swinging first pitch.
Eric Young Jr. chops one out towards second base for Caulfield and flips to first. And Alvarez is underway against the Mets lineup that features Eric Young Jr. You've met him. Here comes Daniel Murphy, followed by David Wright. Curtis Granderson is hot right now. He's up in the cleanup spot. Bobby Abreu's actually been swinging the bat well. He gets a start. Lucas Duda has been a doubles machine lately. Anthony Recker does the catching. Ruben Tejada is at shortstop. And Daisuke is in the 9th spot. J.M. Lexus brings you the lineups. Wright sitting on a hit streak. And here is Murphy, who banged out his usual 2 hits. Last night's ball game, he was 2 for 4. Lance Barrett calling balls and strikes. Alvarez misses away, working with Jared Saltalamacchia tonight.
Boy, 2 game starts against the Mets this year. Henderson Alvarez, 15 innings, giving up just 2 runs.
Murphy guides one into left field for a base hit.
Well, I tell you what, I've been very impressed with the evolution of Murphy and how.
Hold that thought. Marlins
hold
defense.
that thought, Niner. We'll go to the defense. There's Ozuna, Marisnik, and Stanton. Got Casey McGee, Echeverria for call. Garrett Jones around the infield. Saltalamacchia, good to see him back last night. He's back in there tonight.
Yeah, the evolution and the progress that Murphy has shown has been pretty remarkable.
A couple of pitches he hit off of Haney last night were excellent pitches down and away. The one he went to left field on, I was very impressed. He was looking very hitterish last night.
He was, as David Wright stands in. In fact, last night we said that Murphy is one of the more underappreciated hitters in the game. Wright last night cranked one to left. Homering off of Heaney, it was in the first inning.
And the way Murphy handles the bat, I think he's a prototypical number 2 hitter. He can really do some things.
Well, Wright and then Granderson now against Alvarez. Henderson has been a much better pitcher at home. Not that he's been a bad road pitcher, but his home numbers have been startling. 8 starts, a 1.62 ERA. Amazingly, he has only 3 wins in that span. He's 3-1. Big cut and a 2-0 fastball.
You realize that the Mets have played the Marlins 4 times in this ballpark. They've scored just 4 runs, 3 of those on solo home runs. David Wright's last night, Daniel Murphy, and Curtis Granderson, the others.
You saw Terry Collins in that Mets dugout. The consensus around baseball is that nobody gets more out of less than Terry Collins. Count 3-1. And Wright fouls it back. One of the things Daniel Murphy, Niner, you were referencing his evolution as a hitter. One of the other things he's done, and you see the man in his ears had a nice influence on him. Tom Goodwin, he's turned into a pretty good base stealer. Swiped 11 bags this year and only been caught 3 times. Last year he ended up stealing 23.
So you would expect he'd be going here.
He's not running. Chopper. It is a fair ball, and McGee goes across the diamond in time to get right.
I think the perception is that, you know, in order to steal 23 bases in the big leagues, you have to be a blazer, a really fast runner. But like you said, with the input of Tom Goodwin, you can start reading pitchers. You know how to do counts if they're falling into a pattern of you know, hold and then delivery home. So I think he's a very smart base runner, not necessarily a very fast base runner.
Here's Curtis Granderson. The Mets, of course, in the offseason signing Granderson to a 4-year, $60 million contract. And although he's not homering like he did as a Yankee, he's starting to hit a little bit.
We have to remember his home games are in a little different ballpark.
I was about to say, Tommy, don't you think he misses Yankee Stadium just a little bit?
Many times. Actually, he had a good series at Yankee Stadium when they had the series against the Yankees.
Hitting .340 this month, and he leads the National League with a .463 on base percentage.
Granderson hitting .186 at Citi Field.
Granderson last year broke a variety of things, a wrist, a finger, and appeared in just 61 games. Struck him out. Alvarez dots the inside corner at 95, and the Mets are done in the first. But the Marlins have to deal with Daisuke tonight as Miami and New York are underway. Let's go places by AT&T U-verse TV. Find out what's possible with AT&T. 1-800-PICK-AT&T, mobilizing your world. By Checkers. Checkers brings big flavor for a small price. Feed your craving for quality for only $1. Cha-ching. And by your South Florida Honda dealers and sfhondadealers.com. Look at Jared Saltalamacchia and a Pirate running the tape room tonight. The world's most dangerous tape room is here. Crack staff is in place. And the Marlins lineup is brought to you by JM Lexus. Rafael Furcal, Adeiny Echeverria, Giancarlo Stanton right out of the chute. Casey McGee, an RBI machine behind Stanton. Jared Saltalamacchia, Garrett Jones, Marcell Ozuna, Jake Marisnick, and Alvarez, as in Henderson hits ninth.
Now, there's a look at Daisuke, 33-year-old. He's pitched out of the bullpen primarily. This is his 5th start this year. He's faced the Marlins a couple of times, both times out of the pen.
Daisuke enjoying a renaissance of sorts, and hopefully he keeps his dinner down tonight. His last start, that didn't happen. He got ill and lasted just an inning against San Diego.
I mentioned earlier how many innings pitched to hits that Daisuke has this year. 41 2/3. He's only given up 22 hits for a 156 opponent's average, but 30 walks in 41 innings. So the Marlins need to be patient tonight.
Frank Menechino said they've got to bring him to the plate. Furcal drives one right field. It's deep. Abreu back off the wall, and it bounces back away. Furcal's making 3. Around second. On his way to third. A leadoff triple.
Great way to start off the game.
Bobby Abreu, in his prime, was a terrific right fielder. This was a tough ball for him to get to.
Well, for Call, let the strikes come to him and had a good swing out of the reach of Abreu. I'm not even sure in his prime if he makes that play. That was up high on the fence. And for Call, scampers over to third base. Nice fresh legs. Starts things with a triple.
And he turned around to Brett Butler and said, man, that should have been out of here. That's as good as I got.
Save that for Philadelphia.
Echeverria with a chance to drive in a run. Wright is even at the bag at third. Daisuke from the stretch. And Etch drives it up the middle. That'll get the run home. Murphy on a hop due to scoops. And the Marlins have a 1-0 lead.
Nice job by Echeverria right there, realizing that all he's got to do is get a ground ball somewhere up the middle. He scores that run easily.
Got a back and forth from that number 2 spot, but with the Yelich out, I think Etch fits nicely up there behind for Call. A good job.
I think more so this year than he would have last year.
Yes.
I think he's evolved too as a hitter, as Daniel Murphy has. And with the tutelage of Frank Menachino, has really developed a nice plan.
There's a strike to Stanton. Now Giancarlo Stanton 0 for 3 last night. 20 homers, 57 driven in. And Daisuke misses somewhere.
I think sometimes, maybe more often than not, Daisuke wears you down with his stubbornness to throw strikes.
That one looked just low, and it's 2-1.
Yeah, quick scouting report on Daisuke. Deliberate as that twist in his delivery. He'll use the backdoor curveball. You know how a lot of times we say he has a good move to first? Not Daisuke.
If that's in the scouting report, it must be really bad.
Yeah.
A breaking ball for a strike, and it's 2-2 on Giancarlo. 1 out. Marlins have a run, a Furcal triple, an Echeverria ground ball. And Stanton reaches out, hits that one to right. Abreu in pursuit, and he gets to this one and makes the catch. Abreu out there in right field is 40 years old. His gold gloves came in, actually his one gold glove came in 2005.
Yeah, with the exception of some winter ball in Venezuela, he did not play last year. And he's made a nice little impact with the Mets.
Now McGee, 1 for 2 last night, a hit and a walk. Now these are 2 stubborn guys. McGee at the plate and Matsuzaka on the mound.
I would imagine Casey faced some guys with this kind of delivery in Japan. You see it a lot from the Asian players.
You really do. It's almost seems like that's what their philosophy is. That's what they teach, is that very deliberate motion in the middle. They almost stop, gather, and then come home. I bet you he faced that pretty much on a nightly basis in Japan.
Some nice breaking balls for strikes, and it's 1-2, as well as a real steady diet of splitters. The split finger pitch, very popular there.
Remember when the split finger became such a in pitch in America? Roger Craig with San Francisco really taught that pitch well. Then it kind of spread like wildfire throughout all the major leagues, and you really don't see too many thrown nowadays.
I think Craig started when he was the pitching coach for Sparky Anderson in Detroit, and then you're right, he took it to San Francisco.
I think there have been some things written as to maybe causing some injuries, some arm injuries. There are a few. Kevin Gregg throws it. Now he's back with the Marlins.
2-2. Wow, that one swept right across the plate. McGee had no argument there. And Matsuzaka gets McGee, but the Marlins get a run.
por SAP.
It is a Saturday spectacular, and it is spectacular. Boys to Men in concert after the ball game. A 4:10 start, Marlins and Mets. The all-you-can-eat seats are just $27. After the game is the concert on the West Plaza. And it's Saturday, it's tomorrow. It is Boys to Men. And I ask my panel of hitters here tonight, Jeff Conide and Tommy Hutton, both card-carrying members of the Hitters Guild, their favorite Boys to Men song.
Well, unfortunately, not a card-carrying member of the Boys to Men band. But
we'll give you this one, Hut. How about song number 2 there?
End of the Road.
There you go.
End of the Road. I'm sure there's some. They had some good stuff. And there's stuff I'm sure I'll recognize. But it's going to be a good show.
It is going to be a good show. I'm going old school. Motown Philly is probably my favorite song by Boys to Men.
That's back in
I like that one
a while ago. I'll go on Bended Knee.
Hey, by the way, I'm guessing that Henderson Alvarez, he was 10, 11, early teens. I'll bet one of his favorite players was Bobby Abreu.
Without a doubt. Abreu, revered among Venezuelan players, young players.
As we mentioned, Abreu, 40 years old, and Henderson is 24.
I'm sure we all remember the All-Star Game home run derby that Bobby Abreu had that year. What, he had 24 in one round or something crazy?
He was one of the guys. It was incredible. But then the second half of the season, he really tailed off. And a lot of people pointed at that.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's been the case over the years, but it was pretty drastic in his case.
Abreu was a terrific Philly as well. Swings and misses. And he kind of missed the renaissance of the Phillies. His last year there was 05, and of course Charlie Manuel arrived, and then the Phillies started going to the postseason and got to the World Series twice.
That pitch right there, Niner, there's really no way to hit that pitch.
There's no way to hit. He invents stuff out there, it seems, and the ball does some really wild stuff when it comes out of his hand at a high velocity. A lot of times when you see movement on the ball like that, it's in the low 80s, but he'll throw something fast at 90 with it. Bottom just drops out of it.
Lucas Duda sends Ozuna to the warning track, and Marcel makes the catch. Anywhere you put Marcel Ozuna, he looks smooth, comfortable, right field, center field, left field, and not every outfielder can do that.
Yeah, they always say that center field is probably the easiest of the 3 outfield positions to play, simply because there's not as much tail toward the lines when a opposite field hitter hits it. But he's got that great speed to cover, and he gets amazing jumps.
Yeah, and he has a right fielder's arm in left field.
Yeah. Which I think is better utilized. You don't see too many assists from the center field position, so I like him on the corners.
Anthony Recker doing the catching for the Mets. Travis d'Arnaud, sent down to the minor leagues, is swinging it well, and many feel that he will be back soon for the Mets. Last night we saw Taylor Teagarden. Tonight Recker gets the start. There's that little lollipop curve that he features, usually in the high 50s.
Under the speed limit, it usually is.
As a rookie, I faced Frank Tanana. Obviously, very toward the end of his career at the start of mine. And he threw me a pitch like this that I looked at the catcher, and it didn't even look like it could register on a radar gun. It was so slow. And Frank Tanana used to throw high 90s. I mean, when he was with the Angels.
Center field, Marisnik is there, and Henderson Alvarez dispatches the Mets quickly in the second. 1-0 Miami. Sports Florida Girl is underway. You could join Annalie and Jordana in representing Fox Sports Florida and Sun Sports. Submit your application today at foxsportsflorida.com/girls. Tell us why you deserve to be the next Fox Sports Florida Girl. Jared Saltalamacchia, Garrett Jones, Marcell Ozuna against Daisuke Matsuzaka, who certainly when he signed with the Boston Red Sox for the 2007 season had just as much fanfare, in fact maybe even more than Masahiro Tanaka coming over for the Yankees, especially with all the mystery pitches, the gyro ball, the gyro ball, whatever you want to call it. That one is smacked right center field, driven well, driven deep to the wall. Stanley sign, and Saltalamacchia has got a double.
It's good to see Saltalamacchia swing the bat the way he did last night, starting off with a double here tonight, because in the month of April he swung the bat really well. Then things tailed off in May.
Yeah, he really started struggling in May, and to find his swing coming back now would really be a big boost to this offense, because the bottom half of this lineup right now is lacking a little bit, where beginning of the year was a strength.
So a leadoff triple by Furcal in the first produced a run. A leadoff double here in the second by Saltalamacchia. And it's Jones, Ozuna, and Marisnik's responsibility to try to get this run across. Big shift on for Garrett Jones, leaving David Wright over on that left side. The thing about this shift, there's an enormous hole from Ruben Tejada, who is just to the right of second base as you look at it, and then David Wright. And unless Pat Hobart, the second base umpire, has a glove, Jones can sneak one through there. That's a run.
Bottom line, contact here, contact to the right side. He at least gets Saltalamacchia to third.
I'd like to speak with Frank Menechino. If the plan was to jump on Daisuke's first fastball, you've seen it twice now with Furcal and Saltalamacchia. First pitch fastball is really going after it, so he can't get to the really good split and curveball.
Yeah, once he got to that, we saw him make some good pitches to McGee.
Jones goes to that left side, but Young is there, and he makes the catch. And it doesn't do the job. Saltalamacchia is still anchored at second. And here comes Ozuna. That's one of those where you almost want to hit right into the shift.
Well, that's all about having a plan at the plate. And if my plan is to try to get that guy over, I'm going to try to hook something on the ground. Or even a deep fly ball to right field will get the job done as well. But Garrett Jones just couldn't get it done.
Yeah, you get the guy to third, it's amazing. You take your chances. Man at third, see if the Mets play the infield in, if they stay back.
Marcell Ozuna now.
And really in that situation, if Saltalamacchia had gotten over to third, Ozuna's the guy, because if he doesn't get the run in, then they'll probably walk Marisnik, who's hitting 8th. But at least you get one shot.
Which means Ozuna's a guy right now, isn't he? If he doesn't get something here, would they walk Marisnik with 2 outs?
Absolutely.
Probably, yeah. Thus the pitfalls of hitting 8th.
That's a tough spot to hit.
Yes, it is.
Thank goodness I've never had to hit there, but boy, it's tough to see good pitches to hit when you're hitting 8th.
In the National League.
In the National League, correct, yeah.
Ozuna chopper towards short. Tejada waits on it and throws him out. Not by much. And so we'll see if the Mets do indeed walk Marisnik to bring up Alvarez. The only thing that might discourage that, Alvarez is a pretty good hitting pitcher.
And we have seen him in numerous starts help himself, not only defensively, but help himself with a base hit, too. He leads the club in sacrifice bunts as well.
lot of teams will attack the hitter with a couple breaking balls out of the zone to see if he'll chase and get behind in the count.
The old unintentional intentional walk.
And Daisuke is just the guy to do that. Let's see if Marisnick gets something to hit. Breaking ball up. Jake 0 for 3 last night.
It's interesting, Rich. You were talking about his early years with the Red Sox, Daisuke. And he was a big winner. He won 15, he won 18. But over the last 5.5 years, he's 23 and 25. He's really struggled.
Wasn't it at the time when the Red Sox did that posting fee? Wasn't it the largest posting fee ever given?
I think it was
to
at
sign
the time.
a pitcher?
Yeah, at the time. Now things are sure paying off for the Yankees and Masahiro Tanaka.
And so it was the unintentional intentional walk. And we did some digging, the crack staff, Jeff Conine, and found that you did indeed hit 8th. Now we have to discern whether that was in the National League or the American League. But 34 games.
Really? Wow.
219 average, 2 homers, 8 RBIs. But if
I told you it's a really tough spot to hit.
If 219. If it was with Kansas City or Baltimore, any other American League stops I'm missing?
Nope.
Okay. If it were with Kansas City and Baltimore,
yeah, Kansas City, Baltimore,
it might not have felt like you were 8th since it was an American League game.
True. Please, crack staff, come to my rescue here.
And you would have had what, Mike Bordick hitting behind you in the 9 spot?
No, actually, Bordick was up in the top of the order.
He was up number 2, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Alvarez fouls it back out of play. $19 of those at bats came with the Phillies in 2006.
Well, that's toward the end, and my memory was starting to go. I just can't really remember hitting 8th.
You tried to put it out of your mind.
I did.
I would think a few of those were pinch hitting appearances.
No, those don't count.
Here's the 0-1 to Alvarez. He pulls a ground ball right backing up. There's nobody at second. And he throws it over to first in time to get the out. Miami leaves a couple. It's a 1-0 game. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Marlins may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Marlins. Anderson Alvarez, his last 6 starts, very good.
Yeah, talk about taking over as the staff ace with the injury to Jose Fernandez. Henderson Alvarez really stepped up his game and has become that guy you look for to stop losing streaks.
Yeah, and Niner, I think it's really well timed that he's starting tonight. The Marlins are 8-9 in June, and they've reached that 500 mark. They're 36-36. The last time they were at 500 was June 1st. They were 28-28. They proceeded to win 4 in a row after that.
Foul back to the screen. That feels like right after the Braves left town.
Yes, it was that 3-game sweep that Atlanta put on the Marlins. But they bounced back, and that was a good sign.
And we've talked about this at length, how this division this year, no one's really going to be taking charge and running away with it, I don't think. And I think that the Marlins, with a good winning streak, could gain some ground and take over first place.
Well, that's the thing. Anybody in the division with a good winning streak is going to certainly help themselves.
Team that has actually played better lately is Philadelphia, and that's where the Marlins are headed. That went foul back to the screen.
Yeah, the Phillies all of a sudden have won 4 in a row.
Everyone talks about the aging Philly lineup, but that also means a lot of experience, and these guys know how to get hot and know how to put together some winning streaks.
The aging guys are the ones that are hitting.
Saw Ryan Howard's up to 50 RBIs now.
Howard, Utley, Rollins, Marlon Byrd.
Phillies tonight in St. Louis. A.J. Burnett against Jaime Garcia. The Cubs beat the Pirates 6-3. Cubs playing better. The Marlins saw that firsthand. That will be strike 3 called, and Alvarez has 3 strikeouts in the first 8 hitters he's faced.
Yep, Tejada knew it.
See, I don't even know what that is. That's an 89-mile-an-hour pitch. I don't know if it's a changeup or
that's that power changeup that he doesn't have a circle change grip. He just kind of
chokes it off.
Chokes
a little
it
bit,
off,
a fastball, and throws it as hard as he can because gets some tremendous movement at 89 miles an hour.
Well, here is Daisuke now. And Alvarez humps it up to 96. Alvarez is a stylish guy. He's not a max effort guy. So when 96 comes out of his hand, it can be startling sometimes.
And I like the way he just went right after. He didn't mess around and waste anything.
I hope there's nothing going on here. He keeps grabbing the back of his right leg. Saltalamacchia is going out to find out if everything's okay.
Yeah, there's a grimace.
Kind of wince a little bit, and he grabs hamstring area. Sure enough.
And the last thing you want is for him to injure it severely to the point where he is going to miss starts. If it's just a hamstring and you're able to nip it in the bud, so to speak, that's what you want to do. The problem is he's throwing well. It's the 3rd inning. The Marlins bullpen has been taxed heavily over the last 2 weeks with a lot of short starts, and Alvarez is the guy that routinely gets into the 7th inning. He's doing his best to convince everyone he's okay. He may have to tone down some of the stylish finishes, you know, where he poses and lands on that right leg and holds it. But then again, if you change your delivery, then that's a red flag as well. There's that last pitch.
Well, I'm sure they'll keep a close eye on Henderson Alvarez.
Yeah, you can see right at the finish of that last pitch on the delivery, he kind of winced a little bit and grabbed the back of his hamstring. Hopefully it's nothing serious.
Now, guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but the finish of that pitch was much more direct to the plate and a lot less towards the first base bag. Much more upright. And he finishes the inning, and obviously will probably get a little attention between innings. 1-0 Miami. Came to talk to him, and he shooed him away. Mike Kozak, one of the Marlins trainers, has been nearby. Now's the time to tweet your fan photo, hashtag it FLFanPhoto. Chance to have it shown in an upcoming telecast. Maybe this one, brought to you by AT&T. Jeff Conine every night submits a Conine selfie. But so far, Conine is, I think you're 0 for 72. Breaking ball misses outside to Furcal, who tripled over the head of Abreu back in the first. This being game number 73.
Sounds like I got to break that streak.
Almost at the halfway point. When the Marlins come back after the Philadelphia trip, they'll be right around that halfway mark.
I think it works better if you send that selfie from up in the booth here.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Oakland will be waiting for the Marlins at the end of June here. The Athletics on a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And the Phillies return as well. So the Marlins get a good look at the Phils after this Mets series. They will have 7 of 10 games against Philadelphia.
Oakland plays a couple of games in New York against the Mets.
How about Oakland year after year with the retooling of the lineup and doing what he does? Billy Beane always seems to put together a winner, and he got the best record in baseball right now.
I think you also have to give a lot of credit to Bob Melvin, who has done a real nice job managing at times a roster that has not spare parts, but parts that don't fit in other places.
They figure out where to fit those parts. That's what they've done really well.
I played with Bob Melvin, Kansas City.
Very nice.
Yeah. And you know, you always hear about Moneyball and the Oakland A's, a challenged franchise as far as revenue is concerned. I looked the other day; they got an $80 million payroll this year. So they're throwing some money out there. It's not like they're impoverished.
Furcal calls timeout and steps out. Daisuke, as Tommy pointed out, had those 2 really good years in Boston, then staying healthy, especially from 2009 through 2012. Tommy John surgery in 11. Was pitching for Cleveland in AAA last year. There's Echeverria on deck. And the Indians didn't really need him. Indians' rotation was good last year. The Mets took a flyer, and he didn't look so good until he pitched in Cleveland against the Indians. And from that start on, Matsuzaka's numbers have been eye-popping.
Well, he had 7 starts as a Met last year. He was 3-3. The other thing, though, and we've talked about it since 07, he has the 3rd highest number of walks per 9 innings than anybody else in the major league. So 3rd highest.
Yeah, he was 0-3 before that Cleveland start, and since then he's 6-0. That was September 8th in 2003, and his ERA is 2.25.
He's actually got a Mets record currently going right now. 8 starts in a row. He's given up 4 hits or less in 8 consecutive starts.
Our call bounces to Daniel Murphy. Up comes Echeverria. Up comes Craig Minervini. Craig.
Hey, thank you very much, Rich. Well, all major league hitters have to decide, all baseball players, what do you do with that first pitch? About 28% of hitters in Major League Baseball swing at the first pitch. Nobody offers at it more than this guy at the plate right here, Adeiny Echeverria, who has changed his approach. If you look at the numbers from last year for Echeverria, he swings at that first pitch 41% of the time. He did in the first inning, and that ground ball brought home a run. Last year, he swung at that first pitch only about 29% of the time. We'll see if he nibbles at it here. Took that one for a strike. Echeverria is hitting .340 when he puts the ball in play off the first pitch. And if, just in case you're wondering, Carlos Gomez of Milwaukee, over 53% of the time he swings at the first pitch. On the other side, Baltimore's J.J. Hardy, just over 5% of the time will he offer at that very first pitch. Niner, what do you guys like to do? And Tommy?
Well, I was definitely an aggressive first pitch fastball guy. If it was, I know the truck will probably prove me wrong, but I always loved it. The guy's got a good fastball.
From up here, it's all about perception.
If a guy had a good fastball, I was getting it right away, and so he didn't have to get to his good off-speed stuff.
Well, I felt the same as a pinch hitter, too. Always wanted to hopefully maybe get that first pitch fastball. It might be the only good pitch you saw.
Pitch hitting approach different than your everyday approach?
Yeah, because you knew if you were in the lineup, you'd get a few more at-bats and you could work a pitcher and things like that. But yeah, you got one shot, usually a little aggressive. You know what? We've seen Reed Johnson that way this year, too, and he's got 10 pinch hits. He's having a heck of a year.
1-2. Echeverria takes down low. Jeff Conine on the first pitch at a .337 average.
Ooh. I like those numbers.
You know who was incredible last year on first pitches was Yasiel Puig. He's kind of calmed it down a little bit this year because pitchers are wising up.
Yeah.
In the air, and Granderson is there and makes the catch. 45 homers for you, Niner, on those first pitch swings. The .337 average. Craig, what about Giancarlo Stanton?
Yeah, interesting. Among the Marlin regulars, he's actually on the lower side. 19.3% of the time does he offer at that very first pitch. So it's just a different approach. McGee's kind of in the middle. Ozuna, Saltalamacchia, Jones a little above the average of about 28% around the major leagues.
Stanton here with 2 outs. He lined to right. Seemed like he barely swung at the ball, and he sent Abreu back to the track. Daisuke buries a breaking ball outside.
Well, we might see a repeat of the laser beam home run he hit off a curveball last week.
He has homered against Matsuzaka. He's 2 for 8 in his career. There aren't a whole lot of at-bats and experience for the Marlins against this Japanese right-hander out of Yokohama.
Formerly of the Seibu Lions.
And a guy that won just about every award, the Sawamura Award, the Cy Young of Japan, 7-time All-Star, a regular on the best 9, which is sort of the best of the Japanese leagues.
You remember the stories about pitch counts that he had before he came to America. In high school, he would throw 200 pitch double headers on both sides. And there were some really crazy stories that were coming that he obviously was held in check here in the States, and then they wouldn't let him do that because of such investment they had in him. But
he didn't like that. There was a lot of acrimony between he and the Red Sox. I believe John Farrell was the pitching coach while he was there. 2-2. Got him. Stanton strikes out. Matsuzaka a 1-2-3 third. Still 1-0 Miami. The Marlins, this is game 2 of a 4-game set. And on Family Sunday, the 22nd, there's a lot going on. 1:10 start, Marlins Mets. Bark at the Park with the Humane Society. So bring your dogs along, special dog tickets. And all the proceeds go to the Humane Society of Greater Miami. A Salty and Pepe shaker set, courtesy of Goya Foods. And of course, Family Sunday, all kids get to run the bases in the Diamond Dash after the ball game. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton, Jeff Conine in the booth for a special guest appearance, just like on the Love Boat back in the day. They'd have those special guest appearances. And the Niner drew the long straw and arrives here for this matchup, which is a 1-0 game, and that's what we had last night. The Mets beating the Marlins 1-0 on David Wright homer. Strike to Murphy. Keep a close eye on Henderson Alvarez and his delivery. Liner up the middle into center field. A base hit.
boy, is he hot or what?
Wow. 90 hits on the year now for Daniel Murphy, and the average over 300 now.
Really tell when a hitter's locked in by the way he's taking the pretty nasty pitches from Henderson Alvarez low. He's just taking those and then waiting for something that comes in the strike zone, and he is not missing it.
How about another guy on that list with 90 hits? Paul Goldschmidt. We haven't seen the Diamondbacks this year.
He got off to a somewhat slow start, and now you see him on pretty much every top 10 category, including RBIs, extra base hits, total bases. He's number one. One of the I thought top candidates for MVP last year in the National League.
Well, the problem this year, the Diamondbacks are 14 games behind the Giants, 31-45. And they got off to a horrible start.
And the amazing thing is, that's a ballpark that to me screams home field advantage. They're 13-27 at home.
Wow. They're 500 on the road.
Yeah. David Wright with the count 0-2. He bounced to third back in the first. Alvarez last inning winced after delivering a pitch with that long stride finish of his. Chuck Hernandez, Marlins trainers came out to see him. One and two, that pitch just off. Up the middle on a hop for call, fumbles, bobbles, got it, throws it, double play.
Double play and a double dribble at the same time. You don't see that too often.
It's so hard. Daniel Murphy thought it might have been caught on the fly, so he doesn't even run. And Furcal finally gathers it in and delivers a pretty good throw.
Yeah, maybe a traveling violation too.
They don't call that in this league, Tommy.
Great job, though. Great concentration by Furcal to stay with it.
There's Granderson now. Alvarez struck him out back in the first. Braves and Nationals tonight. A 1-1 game in the bottom of the third. Liner, off the tip of his glove. Granderson has a hit, a 2-out single. Furcal has been involved in everything, it seems, this inning.
Yeah, every once in a while you'll see an infielder catch a ball like this. It's so acrobatic. Might have mistimed it just a little bit.
I got up just a little bit soon.
A little bit too soon, but you know, Furcal, not a big guy. Furcal about 5'9", 5'10". You know, a couple of more inches, he makes that play too.
Wait a minute, that's not big?
Yeah, it's pretty good size, yeah.
Abreu. Abreu always said throughout his career had such a terrific on-base percentage. He could run. He could hit. He won a Gold Glove. Spent 9 years with the Phillies doing all of those things.
He was one of those guys that, you know, you always recognize as a 5-tool player. He could pretty much dominate a game from every aspect.
Well, right now, Abreu 39 hits shy of 2,500.
Wow, I didn't realize he had that many. That's a lot of hits.
And I think he's back here at the age of 40 after not playing last year to help himself financially. He's made over $125 million in his career. That one, Furcal's not going to get a glove on. Is it just me, or are the Mets barreling balls up better now than they did before Alvarez had the issue with his leg?
It appears that way, certainly in this inning. They've had good swings. Everybody that's gone to the plate, even Wright, hit his ball hard, the double play.
And if he is tooling back his stride a little bit, like you mentioned, you know, that does a lot with the arm action. He's probably not getting as good a movement on his pitches like he was last inning.
Lucas Duda takes in. Duda flied out back in the second. Lucas Duda, the last man standing in the first base competition with Ike Davis. We just saw Davis with the Pirates. Count 2-0.
We talked about it at the very beginning of the game last night. Then David Wright broke that shutout streak. But the Mets have scored just one run in their last 35 2/3 innings here at Marlins Park.
And that one was enough last night. Zach Wheeler on the hill. And more good pitching tonight. Alvarez and Daisuke.
Zach Wheeler, only one run given up in 21 innings versus the Marlins this year. First time he's ever had a complete game last night. First time he's ever gone beyond 7 innings.
I talked to Bob Guerin, Terry Collins' bench coach. Bob Guerin, a former major league manager, former catcher. And he was down in the bullpen when Zach Wheeler was warming up. He said he was terrible. He said he was all over the place, couldn't hit the catcher's mitt, and then goes out and pitches his first complete game.
Isn't that usually the way it works?
Into the bat, Alvarez has it, and he'll take it himself to first base. Mets scatter 3 singles and come up empty. Far from him in Miami's dugout. 1-0. Marlins on top of the Mets. They got a run on a Furcal triple and an Echeverria ground ball. That was in the first. Casey McGee, Jared Saltalamacchia, and Garrett Jones against Daisuke Matsuzaka. Casey McGee called out on strikes in the first.
You were talking, Rich, about that Cubs-Pirates game earlier today. Cubs winning 6-3. Gregory Polanco with a base hit has started his career with a 10-game hitting streak.
McGee shoots it down the right field line, and it's a foul ball. You don't have to go far in the Marlins clubhouse to find an opinion on Polanco. I think everybody that watched the Pirates play and watched Polanco in that 3-game series here, came away really impressed.
Yeah, he has potential to be an exceptional outfielder for a long time. Remind me a lot of Devon White when he runs to first base. He's got that really long
Boy, he got there
stride.
quick, too.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like he's moving that fast, but he's covering a lot of ground with those strides.
Makia one hopper back to the mound. Matsuzaka gets the out. Saltalamacchia coming up. Also, big day of baseball tomorrow. Baseball Night in America on Fox. Braves and Nationals. That's been a fun series already. And then the Rangers and the Angels over on Fox Sports 1. So the doubleheader starts Saturday at 7 Eastern on Fox and continues 10 Eastern on Fox Sports 1.
How about the Braves' dominance over the Nationals? Last 26 games that those two teams have played against each other, the Braves have gone 19-7 and won 19 out of 26 against Washington.
They've traded solo homers in that ball game. Ian Desmond for Washington and Freddie Freeman for the Braves. It's 1-1 top 4. Saltalamacchia blasted a double back in the second. Hit it in the gap in right center field. Hit the ball well to the left side last night. Shift is on against him. And it's 2-1.
Daisuke still brings it up there pretty good in velocity with his fastball. 93 on that last pitch.
And that's just enough to keep you off the just sitting back and waiting for the off-speed stuff.
That looked a little wide.
Aha. A little looper, and it's a fair ball. Might be 2. And it is 2. Saltalamacchia with a shift on. Goes the other way. Gets one to fall in. He's got a pair of doubles.
Can you use that term now? He hit it like he threw it.
Yeah, he beat the shift. He couldn't have thrown this one any better.
No, that's perfect.
Just beyond third base. Just stays fair. That was a tough pitch by Daisuke. That ball's out of the strike zone, breaking. We call it back door. Caught a pretty good part of the plate, but he was able to get enough on it to throw it out to left field.
Yep. We talked about that in the scouting report. He likes to throw that backdoor curve. Saw the numbers. Salty against Daisuke.
Shift is still on for Jones. Daisuke shuffles his feet. Jones lined to left back in the second. Marlins cannot get a hit that's not an extra base hit. So far, 2 doubles and a triple.
Guys, how much do you get asked the question, well, can't he just, lay his bat over there and hit the ball the other way? It looks like it's so easy just to hit the ball the other way and you get a base hit every time.
Yeah, a lot, especially on email and Twitter Tuesday.
I think especially the way they're pitching Jones. We've seen teams shift against a Jones or a Saltalamacchia and then not pitch him in. They'll pitch him out, and it's obviously easier to go the other way when it's out. Jones cranks one, right field, deep, and gone! Just gone! Barely made it. It's stuck inside the pole, a 2-run homer. That'll beat the shift. That beats any shift.
Terry Collins is jogging out here. I think Lucas Duda might have brought up a little concern. He thought that ball might have gone foul.
Boy, now the umpires are going to get together on this one, too.
They're going to take another look at this.
Now, this is not a challengeable. This is the old home run, fair or foul replay protocol. And it is a foul ball. I did not see it go around the pole.
Because you see on the, if it's that close, the Valero with the netting on there, it would have hit that if it was that close to the pole.
And that's why they have the netting on the inside of the pole.
Yeah, and if you watched Garrett Jones, he just kind of went up the line and didn't start taking off until he saw the call.
He kind of played along with it, didn't he? I mean, you got to sell it, don't you, as a hitter?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And before they had replay, or before they could challenge or look at it again, there's nothing you can do about it.
Well, I guess the telling tale will be if he keeps his batting gloves on, and I think he's still got them on.
Yeah, you can see he's still holding his bat. I think he knows that.
I think he knows. I think I just read his lips. I think he just said foul ball. He has as good a view as anybody. And he has a vested interest in it, too.
Yes. Fans just got a chance to watch the replay on the big screen, and they know it's foul as well. Umpires here getting a look at it. You can see them looking up at the scoreboard, but obviously it's the umpires in New York who have the final decision. And Jones has that look on his face of resignation. And it's a foul ball.
And I don't think Garrett's surprised at all.
No. It would have looked really bad had he gone out to the on-deck circle and kept taking swings with the weighted bat.
Who was it the other night? Russell Martin saw the replay on the big screen on that play at second base, and before the umpires made the decision, he had already walked off.
You know, there may come a time where each stadium has a HD scoreboard that is maybe like this one. I know there are still some ballparks that are still don't have the newest and latest and greatest, where they just put the replay up there and everybody just turns and looks. But those days are probably a ways away. Because I get the sense, and maybe you guys are different, that replay will evolve as time goes. Major League Baseball has been very proactive in making tweaks in the very first year. So I would think going into year 2, year 3, there'll be improvements and maybe add some plays that they can review.
Oh, I definitely think we'll see some changes.
Maybe some changes with camera angles as well to get a better view, because it's got to be clear and compelling evidence to overturn a call.
They've been looking in the truck at all the different views. New York has all those views as well.
You can see the shadow on the pole as it goes by.
I don't think it hit the pole, though.
Ozuna with 2 outs. And Saltalamacchia at third base. Wild pitch will score a run.
I heard an interview, Rich, today with Joe Madden. And the thing that, and you and I have talked about this a lot, the thing that he just doesn't like at all is the manager having to go out and then look over his shoulder at his bench coach, try to carry on a conversation with the umpire. He doesn't like that process at all. I would imagine most managers don't.
And I think that will be streamlined in the future. I'll bet you they make a tweak or two to that.
And I think one of the biggest gripes everyone has about the system right now, might take a little too long to make their decisions. So you're delaying a game a little bit by making these decisions. I think with the better camera angles, that will be brought down significantly.
I guess the hard part is you've got 8 umpires that are in New York, and on a night like tonight, where half the games start 7 Eastern. Half the games start at 10 Eastern. Sometimes there aren't enough umpires to monitor every game.
You have 8 games going on right now.
Oh! There's a strike. And of course, those games will bleed into, a lot of them will carry into the start times for the West Coast games.
Yeah, if you've seen the video of the screens, where the umpires have to, there's a lot going on in that room, and when they finally get a call, they've got to find the screen that their replay is going to be on and make a decision quickly.
I had a chance to visit that room, and the way it's set up is that each umpire has a cubicle that's got 2 games going, and when there's a call or something that happens in a game, we'll turn to the control area where technicians have all the same looks and ask them, hey, I need replay 1 and 2. I need a high home or a first base of the game in Miami. Give me a shot of that home run and the best looks that you have.
It's a bad hitter as a bad feeling as a hitter to know that you came within 2 inches of a 2-run homer to give your team a little bit of a lead, then you make it out on the next pitch.
Oh my goodness. Ozuna on the swing caught the catcher in the arm. Anthony Recker reached up to make the catch, and Ozuna's backswing clipped him right in the arm. Yikes. Nissan and Palmetto 57 Volkswagen, home of your money back guarantee, and by Blue Bell Ice Cream, and by your South Florida Chevrolet dealers. Miami tonight, Anthony Recker gets to lead off. The swing by Marcell Ozuna got him right in that elbow area.
Right on the elbow.
Seems to be all right. Hopefully nobody will throw at anyone like the Braves did against the Rockies on a backswing that hit their catcher, Gerald Laird. I believe David Carpenter was fined for that. And the Rockies pitcher that retaliated was suspended.
That was a little more pronounced. Gerald Laird was basically laid out at home plate, and the beef was that the hitter did not acknowledge or say sorry, or
he did. There's
not visually anyway.
Right. Dad made a nice play apparently.
I think it was son with the sweatshirt.
You think son is number 2 and dad is number 1? Who needs a glove? Look at that.
Oh,
it was with the sweatshirt.
Yeah. You have to improvise if you don't bring the glove.
Fastball up. We're starting to see Alvarez drift back towards first base, which is his normal pitching motion. If you've just joined us, Alvarez earlier in the ball game on a strikeout winced and didn't limp around the mound, but showed noticeable pain, and it brought the training staff out, and they were looking at what looked like his right leg or hamstring, and he did adjust his delivery for an inning or so, but it looks, guys, like he's back to that deep finish with the long stride of the right foot and right leg.
Maybe not quite as exaggerated or violent as it was earlier in the game. We've seen his velocity come down a little bit. He's been more 92, 94, where early in the game he was throwing 96 quite often.
Recker, Tejada, and Matsuzaka in the fifth. Got him. That's the power change at 89. All right. On the left is the pitch in which he apparently irritated the leg. On the right is his next delivery. See how he changed it?
Yeah, you can see that the rotation and the right leg is not coming around on the right like it did on the left, where he winced after.
And that's Murphy the next inning after the injury.
Yeah, it looks like he shortened his stride just a little bit.
And as we noted, 3 or 4 balls were really hit hard that next inning when he did shorten his stride.
I think if Alvarez were a musician, it would definitely be jazz.
Oh, he'd improvise, absolutely.
He'd probably be fun to watch there, too.
And if you went to a club to see him, you'd never know what he was going to play. Because he wouldn't know what he was going to play.
He wouldn't have the same set every time. It'd be different.
And, you know, as a hitter, when you're going over video and studying the opposing pitcher, I think Henderson Alvarez would be a tough guy to come up with a plan, because you don't know really how he's going to attack you any given at bat. I don't think he really develops a pattern with any hitter or team.
Jones in pursuit, and it's out of reach,
which I think will be interesting to watch the next few starts of Andrew Heaney. It's one of the things that, and Rich and I talked about it last night, you may have talked about it with Craig. He threw some good sliders, but a number of times the Mets hitters, major league hitters, didn't chase it, whereas AA and AAA, they may go after that pitch. So he may have to make some little adjustments.
Carl Pavano made a good point, saying that even though he got into some trouble, a lot of young pitchers would start going to their breaking balls and off-speed stuff. He stuck with his fastball and established that as the game went on.
Geico quote, what did it look like from the other dugout for Andrew Heaney last night? For that return, Terry Collins. He's exactly what we heard about him. He knows how to pitch. He works both sides of the plate extremely well. Pretty impressive kid. Daisuke shortens to bunt.
I think a big part of Heaney's success is going to be his delivery. He's very deliberate to home plate. Doesn't look like he's putting a whole lot of effort into it, and then he really explodes with his arm out of that slot. I think it's very deceptive for a hitter. They think that the ball is not going to come out like it does.
Very smooth delivery. Yet even though he's low 90s, it gets on hitters quickly.
Alvarez was thinking second. Saltalamacchia talked him out of it. I mean, Henderson had every intention of throwing to second. But I think if we see it and listen to it, you'll hear Saltalamacchia emphatically telling him first base.
And rightfully so. He really didn't have a play at second base.
Yeah, your catcher is kind of the captain in that situation. He's got the best view of the runner going, advancing to the base, so he tells the infielders where they should be throwing the ball.
But you'd rather have a pitcher think that way than to think first base and then all of a sudden have to change the throw to second.
We saw Henderson in his last start making an amazing play at second base. A very athletic play, more so like a shortstop than a pitcher. And you're right, just because he had that mentality, I want to get that lead out.
Now Young and the Mets have an opportunity with the runner in scoring position. And their leadoff man up. Young is bounced to third, bounced to second. You've played against Senior. You've watched Junior. Who's faster, Eric or his father?
That might have been a good race. At equal times in their career, that would have been a good race. EY was pretty fast. You saw the Mets there, one of the worst in the National League at 181 as a team with men in scoring position.
They get on base, these Mets do. They just have trouble driving people in. Tejada out there at second. Alvarez. 70th pitch coming up. It's 2-2.
Junior didn't look like he liked that very much, but Fox Track shows us. Good call.
You'd think hitters have a little better understanding of the umpires nowadays when they go back and see that maybe that call they question was a strike. More often than not, they are a strike.
Yeah, with the benefit of a system like Fox Tracks, you get to go back, like you said, and see, okay, I felt it was high. But then you'll get some players say, I think the system's wrong. I still think it was high.
And vice versa. The umpires look at the video of the games as well.
Because they get graded on it. They want to see if they got the call right. And sometimes the hitter will come to the plate and tell them before the next at bat, this is going to be a tough play. Alvarez streaks.
Leg is okay. The leg is just fine.
That would be one unassisted with some flair. And the Mets are done in the fifth. Henderson Alvarez is dealing tonight. here, halfway through in Miami. Now this is a promotion that you guys will enjoy. The next Marlins Beer Fest is on Saturday the 28th from 1 to 4. A variety of brands will showcase the brews at the Clevelander pregame. Stay and watch the Marlins take on the Athletics. Tickets start at just $20 and must be purchased in advance at marlins.com/special events. So if you want to come to Beer Fest, marlins.com/special events. And the ball game on that Saturday is a 4:10 start. So from 1 to 4, the Beer Fest is out in the Clevelander. I wonder if the dancers will be wearing lederhosen.
It's a possibility. I may have to defer that tasting to my 2 sons.
Well, here's Alvarez. Matsuzaka has been terrific. He's been right along with the way he's pitched, though he didn't win the starting job out of spring training. He and Henry Mejia were up for that number 5 spot. To chronicle how the Mets season has gone, the Mets have gone through what, 2 closers since then, with the Valverde and Farnsworth, and now Mejia is in that spot. And Matsuzaka's in the rotation and pitching well. Alvarez gets it into left field. Anderson Alvarez with a base hit.
And as you said, Tommy, running pretty well on that single down first baseline there. Very athletic play to end the inning, last inning. Just a good piece of hitting. I mean, this ball, it's a ball. It's off the plate, down and away. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Livan Hernandez swinging the bat. Can really handle the barrel. He knows what he knows what he's doing.
You know, he plays like he's just out on a field with a bunch of kids playing a game. And that's what's fun to watch him.
When you watch him in batting practice, he roams the outfield out there in center field and plays it pretty well. I mean, if you really had an emergency outfield necessary, I think he'd be the guy that you turn to.
And in fact, Mike Redmond has said not only emergency outfield, but emergency infield. He wouldn't hesitate. I mean, if he had to put a pitcher out there, Alvarez would be the guy. Everybody's got a guy. To right, Abreu makes the catch. You look at Abreu, even for call guys that didn't start the season with these teams. And Terry Collins and the Mets have dealt with a lot of turnover from their opening day roster. Marlins have been somewhat healthy. Coors Light cold hard fact. Most players on a 25-man roster not on opening day roster. The Mets and the Rangers. The Marlins are right behind them.
I think a good portion of that's been in the bullpen for the Marlins. There's been a lot of turnover the last couple weeks here, trying to retool that bullpen to get it just right, to make a push to win this division.
When we were in Texas, we talked about that Texas Rangers roster that's been beat up pretty badly.
Yeah, the Rangers turnover has been decimated. I guess their roster decimated by injuries, substantial injuries. And the Marlins, of course, with the promotion of young pitchers, DeSclafani and Heaney, turned over a couple spots in the rotation. The injury to Jose. And then, as you noted, Niner, the bullpen, which has changed a lot, seemingly every 2-3 weeks.
Kevin Gregg coming in, getting his first appearance yesterday.
Brian Morris has been lights out.
Echeverria, hard shot. Tejada flips, and Alvarez is forced at second. 5 innings through, Miami a 1-0 lead. in Minnesota. Derek Jeter, the captain in the American League, take on the National League. Should be an emotional night. Special coverage begins 4:30 on Fox Sports 1, followed by the 2014 All-Star Game at 7:30 on Fox. Henderson Alvarez right now, a 1-0 lead. Into the 6th he goes. And our Toyota trend at home. We talked about the year that Alvarez has had. A 1.47 ERA now. Julio Teheran, Andrew Kashner a little bit better. Tanner Roark has really been a nice find for the Nationals. The Marlins have seen Jeff Samardzija twice in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, there's no question about the Nationals rotation, especially with Pfister back in the mix. Strasburg pitching tonight against Atlanta.
That's why you got to feel the Washington Nationals are the favorites to maybe run away, not run away, but to take a lead in this division just because of the great pitching staff that they have.
Get the ball. They finally got Daniel Murphy out.
Murphy had 2 hits last night. He's got 2 hits tonight.
Yeah, you look at the teams, and we talked about it earlier. Anybody in the National League East that has a little streak, but you look at the teams, and the Nationals should be getting Harper back soon. He's been taking some batting practice on the field. And it seems like with their rotation, with their bullpen, that they are the likely team. However, they have struggles beating the Braves.
Atlanta's up 2-1 right now in the 5th in Washington, D.C., and that's against Steven Strasburg. Alvarez bounces one to David Wright. Wright has bounced to 3rd and then knocked one up the middle into a double play back in the 4th. To Wright, Stanton back, won't get it. Off the wall it goes. David Wright has himself a double, his 16th of the season. Homer last night, double here.
He's always had this terrific swing, taking balls to right field, right center with some power.
Great guy. Just recently signed a long-term deal with the Mets, and a great guy to build your franchise around. I got to play with him in 2007. Just a stand-up guy and a good guy to make a centerpiece of your infield and offense.
Hey, think about it. The city of New York with Derek Jeter over in the Bronx, David Wright in Queens.
Two quality guys. Not baseball players only, but quality people as well.
Yankees have had a better time of building teams around Jeter, obviously. Jeter arrived in the big leagues on a really good team.
I felt when he arrived that those were the best teams that I had ever played against. Still to this day, the 96, 98.
Would you have Bernie Williams, Paul O'Neill, that group?
Bernie Williams, Paul O'Neill, Tino Martinez at first, Scott Brocious, Jorge Posada, of course, behind the plate.
Pretty good rotation, too.
Pretty good rotation. I just felt that they played the game.
A pretty good closer, too.
Decent closer. Decent closer. I remember the first time I faced him, I said, what's he got? And he said, oh, he's got a fastball. I'm like, what else? And I said, he's got a fastball. And I said, well, that can't be that good. I like hitting fastballs, but I've never seen a fastball like that. It was more like a 95-mile-an-hour slider.
1-2. Granderson fouls it back. And the Mets with David Wright, think about back in 2006, they were so close to getting the World Series. Was it Yadier Molina hit the big home run in New York in the deciding game? Sent the Cardinals to the series.
2007. We had a seven-game lead with 17 games to play. And we lost 7 in a row to the Philadelphia Phillies.
Stanton makes the catch on the warning track. Wright's going to tag and get to third. Of course, in 2007 and 2008, despite Jeff Conine's presence down the stretch in 2007, it was the Marlins on the last day of both seasons that knocked the Mets out of the postseason. In fact, 2008 not only knocked the Mets out of the postseason, it closed Shea Stadium. The last game at Shea, beating Tom Glavine.
Well, that was 07. Beat Tom Glavine. Gave up 6 runs in the first inning. And we needed help that day. We needed the Phillies to lose, and we needed to win to force a one-game playoff. But, yeah, that was shocking. I was really excited to finish my career with a playoff stint in the Big Apple. That would have been fun.
Sorry that didn't happen.
Yeah, me too.
Here's Abreu with a runner at third. Mets with an opportunity to tie the score here in the 6th. In 08, it was back-to-back homers. I believe Wes Helms and Dan Uggla late in the ball game. Now, Abreu, you could hear the yell coming in anticipation of getting hit.
It's a Cody Ross type yell.
Brady said, "Hey, I know I might have been the kid's hero, but you're not supposed to get buzzed like that."
You look at Abreu's setup, and his hands are pretty much in the strike zone. He's very close to the plate, crouches over, hands away from his body a little bit. His hands are inside the strike zone, so any inside pitch is going to look like it almost hits him.
We're talking about Anthony Rizzo like that the other night.
Yeah.
I thought Rizzo was a jumbo-sized Chase Utley.
He is a big boy.
It's fun to watch Rizzo play. You can really see him developing into a great player for the Cubs. 2-1. It's in.
Good person, too. I got to go to his charity event this past offseason, and he does a lot of good things for the community up there in Parkland.
Rizzo knocked in 2 in that win today over Pittsburgh. Chris Coughlin, as Tommy pointed out,
He had a nice game.
Had a nice game, a homer and a triple.
I think I pointed that out to you between innings, not on the air.
Well, there you go. It all runs together. Abreu lifts it towards the line, and Ozuna streaking on to make the catch. And leaves David Wright at third in a 1-0 game.
Bat fourth in this inning. He had one of the key shots of the game so far. Nobody had a better view than the fans over here. Just what if that ball just nicked the pole? Then it would be fair, but that's not what the fans said as a video looked at, and they then overturned the call. Now, Ronald, you were right here. You saw the ball coming over. What was your view of it?
Well, what I see was a foul ball. No, there's another way I can see clearly. I see the ball past this side of the
pole.
The ball.
I mean, you never lost sight of the.
Never lost.
And it didn't touch it or nick it.
Nothing at all. I tell it, but it says that foul ball. I don't care what the people say. Foul ball.
He wasn't cheering. And when that one guy up here, Javier, had a really good view, because Javier said as the ball was hit, he came right over to the pole right over here. So you saw the distance. What was the distance, would you say, between the ball and the pole on the foul side?
About a foot to a foot and a half on the foul side.
There's a base hit there. So clearly foul, no nick. And it went, where did it land? It hit the back?
It hit like right where it starts bending, then it hit the column, and then it went straight down to where the mascots were.
All right, so you never know. If you got the slightest nick, it might be tough to pick up, but clearly I think replay showed, and you guys confirmed, good foot or so to the right. It looked closer like to that on the video. Back to you guys.
Investigative reporting out there in right field. And Giancarlo Stanton dumps a single.
Always good to have an eyewitness.
Marlins got a run right out of the chute. Rafael Furcal opened the bottom of the first with a triple. Adeiny Echeverria scored him on a ground ball. Since then, opportunity in the second and the fourth. Jared Saltalamacchia doubling in both innings. But Daisuke Matsuzaka is channeling his inner 2007-2008 Boston Red Sox.
And the Marlins, just with that base hit by Giancarlo Stanton, stopped his record streak. He had 8 starts in a row, giving up 4 hits or less. Now the Marlins have 5 hits on the night, so it stops at 8, which is a Mets record.
This is a good situation for Casey McGee. How many times have we seen him stay back and hit balls through that hole on the right side? So with Murphy cheating a little bit for double play, he's sneaking towards second. With Duda holding Stanton, there's all kinds of room on that right side.
And that's what you got to love about Casey McGee is, you know, a 4th place hitter. He's only got 1 home run. You'd think he might be trying to add to that total on a nightly basis. No, he's got a plan up there. He knows what he's doing. He sees opportunities like that for base hits.
And by the way, that last pitch reminded him of his stint in Japan last year. 2-0 big curveball.
Breaking ball, yeah. Japan League famous for throwing off-speed pitches in fastball counts. Fastball counts here in America.
And that's how you start thinking, because if you see a 2-0 curveball, now the count's 3-1. You're not assured that fastball here either.
And a strike to McGee. Count full at 3-2. Now Stanton has run successfully this year. 5 for 5.
I think it'd be going. I think with Casey McGee, the hitter, I think Stanton will be on the move.
And remember the scouting report on the move by Matsuzaka to first.
Not good.
He's running, and McGee fouls it at the plate.
McGee with 48 strikeouts on the year, 275 at bats, pretty good at putting the ball in play.
And also selective. If the pitch isn't a strike, he'll take it for ball 4.
That surprised me a little bit. I thought that Casey McGee might have had a little bit better than major league average as far as pitches seen per at bat.
Yeah, yeah, I was surprised too.
Mets bullpen is ready. Saltalamacchia is on deck. Full count, nobody out. A 1-0 game. Miami on top. Bottom 6. Mets won 1-0 last night. Stanton runs, and McGee finds that hole into right field. Stanton to third, and the Marlins are set up at the corners with nobody out.
Boy, this was right into Casey's game plan. Fastball out over the plate. Let me just take it through that huge hole.
Great piece of hitting once again. Setting up a Man on third, less than 2-out situation for the Marlins. Hopefully add on a run here.
So McGee, 1 for 3. Dan Warthen, pitching coach of the Mets, is out. Now in baseball, you can, by rule, take a translator to the mound now. Though obviously in that case, Matsuzaka not in need of one. Tomorrow, South Florida Honda Dealer starts your baseball day at 3:30. Jeff Conine back to center field with Craig Minervini. You're going back to 1985 to the Home Run Derby. The last time the All-Star game was in Minnesota, it was in the Metrodome, which is a vastly different place to hit than the new ballpark up there.
Vastly different. They used to call it the Homer Dome.
Swing and a miss. Target Field is a beautiful ballpark.
But you hit it off the baggy right field?
The baggy. There was a lot of controversy there about the air conditioning system, and would they turn it on during the Twins while the Twins were hitting and turn it off while the opposing teams were hitting?
Didn't somebody confess to that?
I think there was the AC gate confession. One of the loudest buildings I've ever played in. Although they didn't really get much attendance, whatever they got was very loud in that building.
What was the World Series?
87 and 91.
87 against the Cardinals, and I think the home team won every game. Home field advantage.
Yeah.
And the Twins certainly had it.
Of course, 91 was the incredible Game 7, right? The matchup, Jack Morris.
1-0, 10 innings.
Was it Smoltz and Morris?
I think you're right.
Smoltz went 9, Morris went 10.
I think he completed the game. You're right. Boy, talk about split finger like we were talking about earlier. Jack Morris had one of the best.
And I think Roger Craig, when Morris was a Tiger, was the guy that helped him with it.
Yeah, there were some splitters and sliders in that matchup with Smoltz and Morris.
Anthony Recker out to talk to Matsuzaka. Couple of hits to open up this 6th inning. Stanton a single to center. Stanton on the move. McGee poked one into right. And now Saltalamacchia, who's doubled twice, and he's got the shift on, just looking for contact here.
They've really pounded him in pretty well here in this at bat.
Recker set up out, and Matsuzaka hit the glove. Saltalamacchia stays alive. The Phillies and the Cardinals in St. Louis are delayed. Another 0-2 coming. Came back, got the plate, and Saltalamacchia is down looking.
Looked like you got him that time with that backdoor breaking ball. Starts it off the plate and just catches the corner.
It does. That's for Lance Barrett, the home plate umpire. He stuck the call right on the black. And Terry Collins is coming out. Garrett Jones is on deck. Mets go to their pen, and they summon a lefty. 1-0 Miami. Chance for you to come to a Marlins game and take advantage of season ticket prices. And you get the flexibility of coming to the ballpark when you want with as many people as you want. The Flex Packs. Get 20 ticket vouchers starting at just $13 per game. Pick up your Flex Pack today. 1-877-MARLINS or go to marlins.com. Josh Edgin is the lefty out of the Mets pen.
You know, I think in a situation like this, Rich, because Mike Redmond's going to his bench, he's going to have Jeff Baker pinch hit for Garrett Jones. There have been times when he's allowed the lefty Jones to hit against a lefty, but I think a lot of it depends on the type of left-hander. And Edgin, with his arm slot, with his delivery, he can be really tough on left-handed hitters.
And game situation, too. Marlins would really like to get this run in.
Jeff Baker, who has a birthday tomorrow on the same day as Garrett Jones.
A lot of birthdays. Kevin Gregg back with the Marlins celebrating his birthday today.
So Baker up, infield looks for two. Edgin delivers down low. Baker, who got off to that slow start in April, really had a terrific May and early June. Has swung the bat well lately. As a pinch hitter, 4 for 17. McGee's at first, Stanton at third. And Edgin stays in on Baker. 2-0. Another reason behind the move. Lefties just 2 for 22 against Edgin this year.
Boy, righties aren't much better. Rich, 1 for 8.
Baker, a ground ball, looks like 2. And the Mets turn it. Tejada getting up and over McGee. And so Edgin does what he's asked, gets the double play, and Miami leaves that run at third base. Tommy, you were there for this.
20 years old, Miguel Cabrera making his debut with the Marlins. Extra innings, straightaway center field, a walk-off.
And he's done that a lot since then.
He's still doing it.
Still doing it. Probably the most complete right-handed hitter in the game.
Jeff Baker stays in the ball game. And he's at first.
Boy, frustrating for the Marlins. First and third, nobody out, and could not cash in a run.
Lucas Duda, the hitter. Anthony Recker and Ruben Tejada. Alvarez threw 6. Matsuzaka is out of the ball game. And a strike to Duda. Big guy has 9 homers, driven in 33. Doubles have kind of been his thing lately. 6 doubles in his last 6 games, 9 this month. Chopper, it comes down for call, shovels it to get the out. A.J. Ramos.
Well, we talked about Anderson Alvarez shut out against the Mets earlier this year. So he has had quite a run, not only against the Mets, but if you go back his last 5 starts, tonight being the 6th start, he's given up just 3 earned runs during that time.
He's been impressive, very impressive. Marlins 6-0 in his last 6 starts.
The hard part for him is that in those 6 starts, Niner, he has 1 win.
Yeah, he's 1-0.
And so his record is a pedestrian 3-3, but his ERA is not. It's 2.56. Actually, it's lower than that. It's 2.39. After getting through 6 1/3 of this one. Marlins obviously want him to get at least through 7. His pitch count just hit 90. Recker gets tied up and fouls it back. Anthony Recker. We talked about the catching spot for the Mets with the Travis d'Arnaud down in the minor leagues. It seems like he's hot. Met fans believe he'll be back here pretty quickly. Taylor Teagarden and Anthony Recker sharing the duties right now. I'll tell you who the Mets really miss is Juan Lagares.
Yeah, they really do.
A blossoming center fielder.
Offensively and defensively.
Lagares has had a couple of DL stints. He's on with an intercostal right now after a hamstring early in the year.
Don't see Alvarez use that breaking ball too often, but every once in a while he was trying to get Recker to chase off the plate.
That's what makes him so hard to approach. He'll break out a pitch you haven't seen in 3 innings. And it's effective. It's a plus pitch.
Into left field, a base hit. Recker is aboard. Tejada's coming up. Jared Saltalamacchia, as Chuck Hernandez on the phone. Jared Saltalamacchia, when asked about Alvarez and what he liked about him, one of the things that I found most interesting is that he said the best thing about Alvarez is he's got a very short memory. And that helps him with runners on base because he's a guy that gives up hits. Mike Redmond is on his way out to the mound. And Alvarez is coming out of the ball game. He's at 94 pitches. Recker has singled. Tejada is the hitter. He's 1 for 2. And you've got the pitcher spot. So Alvarez is out. Miami goes to the pen in a 1-0 game. on the steps towards the clubhouse, but has popped back into the dugout. It's somewhat of an early hook, especially considering Ruben Tejada is the hitter. But remember, there was a time earlier in the game where the trainers came out to look at Alvarez's leg.
Yeah, there's the old adage that the manager certainly knows more about his players than we do up here. You know, if everything's okay, a little surprised that he made the move. But Mike Redmond knows things about Henderson Alvarez because he's been down there in the field, and maybe there is a little something bothering him with that leg.
Tejada 1 for 2. Ramos starts with a breaking ball for a strike.
To me, that's a good sign with AJ. A lot of times he comes in and he'll go 2-0 real quick. As soon as he gets a first pitch strike, that's a good sign.
And oftentimes he misses with fastballs.
Well, AJ's really struggled with his command this season. 25 walks in just 32 innings pitched. So strikes have been an issue.
And it speaks to the type of talent that he has, in that he can struggle with his command and still pitch to a 2.48 ERA.
As we saw a few outings ago when he came in and basically walked the bases loaded and then got out of it with no outs.
To third, McGee for Call's turn. Got him. Double play. AJ Ramos cleans up the 7th on a nice turn by Rafael Furcal. This ball game is still 1-0.
This experience.
None better than the world's most dangerous tape room tonight. Mets and Marlins, a 1-0 Marlin lead. Casey McGee and Rafael Furcal hooked up on that double play.
Yeah, they did. Good conversation. Casey McGee started it with the ground ball and then gave a good feed to Furcal. And remember, Tommy John surgery on the arm, but that's the old shortstop arm, the strength that Furcal used to show when he played shortstop. So good arm strength to get that double play.
And one of the tougher plays to turn when you're not used to it, to turn that double play as a second baseman. He's worked really hard on that, because that I've been really surprised and pleased on how he's been turning double plays at second base.
Both the relief pitchers, Edgin and then A.J. Ramos, came in and got big double plays.
Edgin has exited. Vic Black
arrives, look at the ERA that he sports in 11 games with the Mets.
See, 14 strikeouts, 8 walks. He can get a little wild, but he can go mid to upper 90s. And look at his minor league numbers. More strikeouts than innings pitched, but max effort guy. Big power curveball, so a strong arm from Vic Black.
And the Mets bullpen as a whole has been pitching well lately. Ozuna fouls it off. Last 6 games, the Mets pen an ERA at 1.33. That was not the case in April and May. The pen was a mess. There's Kevin Gregg.
And they've made some additions to their staff. Black only 12 in a third innings. He said the minuscule ERA. Edgin came in, has only got 9 innings. He's only given up 3 hits.
You know, it's interesting, the double plays, the important ones tonight. Each team turned 3 double plays last night. There were a lot of them last night, too.
Yeah, Zach Wheeler only faced 1 over the minimum, even though the Marlins had 3 hits and 1 walk because of the big double plays.
Oh-2, I think he went. He did. And Ozuna 0 for 3 night with a pair of strikeouts. Jake Marisnick, and then the pitcher spot coming up.
Wow, what a big downward breaking ball right there after seeing 96, 97 mile-an-hour fastball. You almost try to get it going a little bit sooner and try and cheat a little bit to get to that fastball because he was late on both of them, and he just committed too early.
It gives you that power 12-6 curveball.
At 84, that's a hard curveball.
That's harder than Andrew Heaney's slider last night.
Marisnick takes a ball. It's 1-0. Jake down in the 8th spot. Was intentionally walked in the 2nd. Flied to center in the 5th. Jeff Conine earlier in the telecast talked about the difficulties of hitting 8th in the National League. Marisnick smacks it into center field for a hit.
That's been one of the biggest improvements in Jake Marisnick's game from last year to this year. We saw it in spring training, his ability to take a middle and middle-in fastball and either hit it up the middle or turn on it. I felt last year he wasn't capable of doing that. Just his swing path was just not conducive. This one's a little bit on the outside part of the plate, but he got beat a lot on really good fastballs.
Yeah, and I think we saw that from the beginning of spring training.
Justin Bohr is going to pinch hit for Miami.
The one thing about a number 8 hitter is that if you can get on base a couple of times. I mean, you can help yourself, look at it that way, but if you're going to walk one time, probably if you can get that 1 base hit, all of a sudden you're going to be 1 for 3 and be on base twice.
Yeah. He's really tightened it up, but much more compact. I think last year you see he has a tendency to get that front knee and stiffen it out, which kind of pulls him off the baseball. And he's done a lot of work with Frank Menechino in spring training to straighten that out, and it's really paid off.
Bohr swings and misses.
I think Bohr was expecting that first pitch, 97 mile-an-hour fastball.
Has yet to get a pinch hit this year. 0 for 5, and that's going to be tough for a guy like Bohr because coming up in the minor leagues, he probably didn't do a whole lot of pinch hitting. Marisnick is thinking about second base right now.
I know it's batting practice. You know he puts up power numbers in AAA, but watching Bohr in BP, it's nice to have a power left-handed bat off the bench, and I'm telling you, he puts them in the seats with regularity in BP.
And it's an easy,
yes,
really easy swing with big power.
Takes outside on the fastball. Anthony Recker is behind the plate. He's thrown out 6 of 14, 43%.
You can't always guess correctly, but if Marisnick goes, he'd love to go on the curveball. Makes it a little tougher for Recker.
Niner, Tommy and I were talking about Marisnick the other day, and he's a little unique as a base stealer. He has a high start. He stands up tall in his lead. He doesn't crouch down. But he does get good jumps. He got a terrific jump there. Recker's throw is safe.
And he did get the curveball. Recker made a heck of a play to come up and fire as quickly as he did.
Yeah, like you said, Rich, he gets a good jump on this. I was surprised it was as close as it was. And you see clearly he gets the hand in there.
For as tall and lean as he is, he gets going quickly.
He does. He's got great speed, great athleticism. And you look at kind of what Ricky Henderson used to do. He used to get very low in that crouch. A lot of guys teach that if you're too low in the crouch, you have to stand up first to be able to go forward. And Jake kind of stands forward or stands high and gets low as he goes.
If you're Justin Bour now, the count's 3-1. You can sit on that one pitch. We've seen Black with a terrific fastball.
I'm sitting on one pitch right here.
We're all looking for the same thing.
Yeah.
See if he gets it.
Might start a little early too, Tommy.
Yeah.
It's out. He did get the fastball. 96 miles an hour, well outside. Good at bat. He's walked. And now here comes for call. It was tripled, bounced out, and flied out.
Of course, the Marlins got their only run on a ground ball out. For call led off with a triple. Echeverria hit the ground ball, got the RBI. So the Mets tonight are 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position. The Marlins are 0 for 8. It's been that kind of night.
Dan Warthen back out. Time to unveil the AT&T fan photo. Let's see if Jeff Conine's selfie made it.
Let's see if he made it tonight, Niner.
Hashtag it FL fan photo. Yeah, sorry, Niner. A little Henderson Alvarez love.
That's appropriate, though.
0 for 73. I'll keep trying, guys. I will keep trying.
Tommy, you talked about a simple ground ball that delivered a run in the first. Had the Marlins been able to hit a couple more simple ground balls, it would be a 3-0 ball game.
Absolutely.
Here, for call is looking to drive in a run with a hit.
He's had some nice swings tonight, both to right field. One over the head of Bobby Abreu to lead off the game for a triple. Hit one almost as hard a couple of bats later, but Abreu was able to run it down.
This is also a situation you've seen Black throw that curveball, likes to keep it low, maybe bounce it. So Marisnick really going to keep his eye on things at the plate, be alive if the pitch gets away from Recker.
He's running. Pitch outside, the throw to third into left field. Marisnick on his way home. 2-0.
He wasn't waiting for a wild pitch. He was going to go ahead and take it. Got a great jump. Recker really rushed the throw, and Wright didn't have a chance.
Love the aggressiveness here. You see, I think a lot of guys, especially young base stealers, are timid about stealing third base because they don't want to get thrown out while in scoring position. But Jake Marisnick saw an opportunity and managed to get a good jump.
David Wright was playing well off the line and had difficulty getting back to the bag. Obviously, Recker's throw was well inside the line. All that adds up. to a 2-0 ball game. Bohr takes second.
Yeah, he gets a stolen base, his first.
Get the bag.
There's a strike.
You know, you look at why the Marlins are pretty high on Jake Marisnick is because he can change a game in a lot of different ways. Defensively, we've seen how well he plays the outfield.
Saw the double play last night.
The double play last night on a great running play in, and what he can do on the base paths for a guy his size is pretty incredible.
So what an impact in this game to this point anyway the number 8 hitters had.
Two stolen bases in the inning by Marisnick. For call, a ground ball. Murphy to his left. And the second out at first with Justin Bohr arriving at third base. And Echeverria comes up. Etch has hit the ball well, but is 0 for 3. He did drive in a run with a ground ball out back in the first.
That's where I'm sure Brett Butler down at third just reminding Justin Bohr, you never know, he might drop down a bunt. So be alive.
Echeverria has been able to do that a few times this year. Something he was reluctant to do last year, but obviously the arrival of Butler has changed that. Both he and Christian Yelich have added that to their arsenal, and Butler has really worked with the Marisnick hard since Marisnick has been called up.
Brett Butler, a Met for 90 games. 1995, hit .311.
Right back to the Dodgers. Juan Pierre was here the other day behind the cage at batting practice.
Yeah, wasn't it great to see JP?
It was great to see him, and he got to meet Brett Butler, who was one of his idols growing up because of the way he could bunt the ball. He was one of the best bunters that I have ever played against, Brett Butler. And JP obviously loved to bunt for base hits and got a lot of his career hits that way. But a great addition to this coaching staff, a great addition to the Marlins organization. Brett Butler really has mentored these guys and taught them how to play the game the right way.
Well, we've referenced Frank Menachino a few times tonight. Same thing. Chuck Hernandez in his second year working with the pitchers, been tremendous.
Miami a 2-0 lead. A run across here in the 7th. Echeverria. Count 2-2. As Tommy pointed out, the Marlins arriving at the 500 mark for the first time since June 1st. The Fish did go on a nice little run and win 4 games after that. They'd like to have the same type of run here because so far this homestand has been a disappointment. Marlins saw this as a moving opportunity. Pirates came in, took 2 of 3. Cubs came in, took 2 of 3. And the Marlins got Zach Wheelered last night. 1-0.
All of a sudden, the Marlins doing some winning on the road and not so much winning at home. And at the beginning of the year, it was a complete turnaround from that.
Stays at 2-2. Black dials up 97 miles an hour. Kansas City getting cooled off tonight at home. Seattle has a 5-0 lead midway through that ball game. They have started the game in St. Louis. Phillies and Cardinals scoreless, bottom 2nd.
And I'm sure all 42,000 Cardinal fans in red have waited.
Bet you there's a good crowd in Kansas City wearing royal blue, as hot as the Royals have been.
They get cooled off tonight by Seattle.
Atlanta's lead over Washington is 4-2.
Logan Morrison with a home run for the Mariners tonight.
That's very meaningful, Tommy. That's in Kansas City. And I'll bet you George Brett was probably in the house to watch that. That's a big moment for Morrison. This is going to be an error on right. It bounces off his hand.
He tried to field it barehanded.
Echeverria ends up at second. The Marlins have their third run. And it may end up as a
I think
base hit initially.
They should give him a hit because of the way Wright tried to field it. In his mind, he's saying, if I glove this, I can't throw him out. I've got to barehand it and throw all in one motion. So because of that, it should be a base hit.
Well, right now, they've given Wright an error. You could actually give a hit and an error, a hit to get to first and the error to get to second.
And Tommy, there's your 3-0. Like you said, it should have been. Now we're at 3-0.
That's okay. I feel better now.
Here's Stanton now.
But you're absolutely right. I think he thought with the speed of Echeverria and the depth that he was at third base, the only chance he had was a do-or-die barehanded play.
They weren't expecting Etch to pull the ball. He was way off the line, too.
A ball, a strike, and 2 outs. This has been a messy inning for the Mets. And for the Marlins, a little speed mixed in with Marisnik's 2 stolen bases. A throwing error by Recker. And now a fielding error by Wright. Stanton almost the same spot. And that one is foul. Wright, usually a pretty dependable third baseman. Has some hardware.
He's won a couple of Gold Gloves. David Wright on the year this year. If that error holds up, that'll be his 9th.
One and 2. Stanton singled in the 6th on a 1-for-3 night.
We've talked so much about Casey McGee and his offensive production, but look at the job he's done at third base. Only 3 errors on the year. I think he's played an outstanding third base. Tough plays, routine plays, he's made them all.
Leads National League third baseman in fielding percentage.
Black with a fastball that misses. It's 2-2. This has been a long half inning here. Marlins had Kevin Craig warming up early. He's been able to sit down and get back up.
That's okay if they're long and you capitalize with a couple of runs.
Echeverria, good speed at second.
It's when they're long and you get shut out that they're not worthwhile.
Adds to the angst.
Black 26 pitches in this inning. I'm sure it looks so enticing for a pitcher because Giancarlo stands so far off the plate to really want to try to throw that inside strike, but they know if they make a mistake that it's probably going to make it pay.
At times that's a pitch that Stanton has almost looked more comfortable hitting this year, is that pitch on the outside part.
He's got that luxury to be able to hit it to that side of the field well out of any ballpark.
Yeah, he can go oppo and still hit it 400 feet.
Swing, miss, ball in the dirt. Stanton turns and heads to the dugout, and the Marlins are done in the 7th. Not before they pick up 2 more runs and get to the 8th on top 3-0. By Gulfstream Park.
Marlins get on the scoreboard first inning, a triple on the leadoff man Rafael for call. Nice job by Danny Echeverria. Infield back, he gets the ground ball, makes a little contact. Marlins with a 1-0 lead. Stayed that way for quite a while, but the aggressiveness after base hit of Marisnick, he stole second, stole third. The throw goes into left field. And then on another error, this one by David Wright, Justin Bour came in to score after he had reached, drawing a bases on ball. In the meantime, Henderson Alvarez was just tremendous. 6 1/3 innings, once again allowing no runs to the Mets.
Birthday boy, Kevin Gregg. As we noted, Garrett Jones and Jeff Baker have birthdays tomorrow. And Gregg facing Chris Young.
This year, Rich, against the Mets, Henderson Alvarez has gone 21 1/3 innings and has given up just 2 runs. I mean, that's Zach Wheeler-like.
It is Zach Wheeler-like.
Against the Marlins.
Was it Josh Johnson that had great numbers against the Mets early in his career?
Yes.
First 3-4 years?
Yeah, he dominated the Mets.
I think Dontrell Willis did a pretty good job against the Mets, too, if memory serves.
Dontrell actually started that game in 07, right, against Glavine, but got knocked out early after like an inning plus or 2 innings. And then it was bullpen from there.
I was starting on the bench that game, and he ended up throwing an inside fastball to Carlos Delgado and broke his hand, and I ended up playing the rest of that game.
Two and 2 to Young. He'll be followed by Young. Chris is up. Eric Jr. is on deck. Alvarez 6 1/3, 5 strikeouts, 7 hits, no runs. His ERA down to a slender 2.39. AJ Ramos came in, got a double play ball in the 7th. Gregg opens up here in the 8th. Daisuke looks sharp, 5 1/3, 6 hits, a run. The starting pitching has been really good here the last 2 nights. Wheeler was dominant last night in the 3-hit shutout. Andrew Heaney was quite good. A run and 4 hits in 6 innings. Guys, you think about the run of starting pitching that the Marlins have seen. Going back to the start by Jason Hammel. The 3 starters the Cubs threw at the Marlins, all quite good, and Young walks. Gregg misses him. Texas of Pembroke Pines brings you the upcoming telecast schedule. 3:30 tomorrow. It's a throwback to the 1985 home run hitting contest. Last time the All-Star game was in Minnesota. Sunday, Mets, Marlins. Pre-game starts at 12:30, getting you ready for Bark at the Park. And it's on to Philly. There's 6:30 starts for Marlins Live on all 4 games. All 4 games are 7:10 Eastern starts. As we've noted, the Phillies are playing better of late. They're just 5 under now at 33 and 38. Echeverria picks up a double and an RBI on the play that David Wright tried to barehand. So take away the E5.
See, Rich, and if you had pitchers up here, they wouldn't maybe agree with that. But,
Tommy and I have got smiles on our face because we know he deserved that double.
I would be okay with a single and an error to allow Echeverria to get to second. Because it's one thing to not get him at first. It's another thing to botch the ball completely and let it go by you.
Because if he does glove it, even though he might not make the throw over to first base in time, he'd still be at first.
Or even if he gets a little more of his hand on it. He almost whiffed on it.
Yeah.
But that's not an easy job. We talk about tough jobs in baseball. Scoring is a thankless job. Ground ball right field. That's a base hit. And the Mets have opened the inning with 2 hits. Or rather with 1 hit after the walk. 2 base runners. And now you've got the best of the Mets lineup in Murphy, Wright, and Granderson. If anybody reaches Abreu. Mike Dunn is ready in Miami's pen. Breaking ball popped up. Sold to LaMacchia for a look. Daniel Murphy, couple hits. Great speed out there with Young and Young. And Murphy off his foot, 0-2 the count.
Kevin Gregg kind of pitching with a little different arsenal than he used to. He used to be a big fastball power type pitcher, mid-90s fastball. Always had great deception. He's a very big guy. He's got a short arm, delivery, hides the ball well.
Two on Daniel Murphy. Chris Young, Eric Young. Fastball in. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And pretty good speed on the bases for the Mets.
Here's the dilemma. You've got a lefty in the bullpen. If he loses Daniel Murphy, David Wright hits lefties no matter how good their stuff. Wright is one of the best in the game at hitting left-handed pitching.
This year hitting .400 against lefties.
That's pretty good.
It's decent if you're into those kind of things. 400 averages.
3-2. Fouled off. Murphy's average over 300 at 301. 4 hits already in the series. Greg has made some good pitches and got some pop-ups in this at bat, and if he were pitching in Oakland, may have an out or two.
Hitter's not real fond of Oakland. What do they call that place now?
The Big O. I don't know. It changes yearly. McGee calls and has it. Infield fly.
He made an excellent pitch there.
Great job.
Tied him up with a fastball. Got it in on his hands.
So that pop-up stays in play. An out, and here's Wright, and this is for Mike Redmond. I think he likes this matchup a lot better than had Greg lost Murphy. He may have had to go get Dunn to face Wright.
He's got Dunn ready for Granderson, who's after Wright, and after Granderson is Abreu, another left-hander.
So Wright settles in 1 for 3. Doubled back in the 6th. Pretty good pitch.
Pretty good pitch right there. Good spot.
And it
Great
was.
spot. At the knees and on the black. Count 2-1. A 1-0 Met win last night. A 3-0 Marlin lead here. Right center field, hit well on a hop. Marisnick has it. Young, both of them advancing. Chris will score. Eric gets to third. Wright drives in a run, and the Mets make it 3-1. David Wright 2 for 4, an RBI single.
Well, that leadoff walk comes back to bite Kevin Gregg on a high fastball. David Wright attacked that pitch to drive in the first Mets run tonight.
I like Jake Marisnick's decision to throw to second base instead of trying to chase that runner to third, which David Wright would have kept right on going to second.
As tough as it was to score a run in this ballpark, Wright finally drives one in. The Mets had been 0 for their last 17 here at Marlins Park. Runners in scoring position. Gregg exits. Dunn arrives. Granderson awaits. 3-1 Miami. follow the Marlins with MLB.com at bat. iPhone, iPad, Android, BlackBerry 10, Windows Phone 8, whatever device you got. Score, stats, highlights, live audio, and more. Text at bat to 31826 or visit Marlins.com. Anyone who is anybody in the game of baseball, whether it's in the major leagues or the minor leagues, whether a player, a manager, coach, scout, front office, broadcaster, groundskeeper, bat boy, they all have MLB at bat.
I've checked it a number of times this game.
It is our lifeline as broadcasters.
Now Granderson against Dunn at the corners, Wright and Eric Young. And Dunn misses out. Granderson 1 for 3. Curtis Granderson, as we talked about, is starting to turn it on after a really slow April. A sizable contract. And a crosstown move.
A lot of times we see lights out numbers, lefties against lefties, but lefties against Mike Dunn hitting .261, and he's allowed 4 home runs this year, 2 to left-handers.
And Granderson will take a walk. He is 3rd in the National League. 44 times he's walked. And so it's 3-0 now. Abreu is on deck. There's only 1 out. The inning opened with Kevin Gregg walking Chris Young. A single to Eric Young after Murphy popped out right, punched an RBI single to center. And Dunn on 4 pitches walks Granderson. So Miami's bullpen is really putting themselves in a bit of a mess here.
And it is not going to be Bobby Abreu.
Eric Campbell, whom we saw last night get the start against Andrew Heaney. Infield back for 2.
Mike Dunn really struggling to find the strike zone right now.
Bases filled with Mets. Eric Young, David Wright, Curtis Granderson. Outfield towards right center. That's out. So Dunn has come into the ball game and thrown 6 balls, has yet to throw a strike. Chuck Hernandez out.
These are those opportunities you don't want to just hand it to the opposition. You want to make them earn it. If they're going to beat you, make them earn it.
Currently no action in the Marlins bullpen. Lefty Duda's on deck.
Cishek wondering to himself if tonight's a night for a 4-out save, but at this point he's not loosening up, simply watching. Dunn trying to come back against Campbell, the Boston College product. That pitch was out. You can see the first pitch actually was in the strike zone. So I guess everything's fair and square at 2-1.
It's a much different at bat though when you're 0-1 than 2-1.
That's 2-2. And And psychologically, Dunn's over the hurdle now, being able to throw a strike.
Chuck Hernandez probably went out to the mound and said, listen, your stuff is great. You throw 95, 96 miles an hour. Don't be afraid of contact. Get it in the strike zone and let it work for you.
Bags loaded, 1 out, 2-2 coming.
Another good fastball.
Granderson, the trail runner at first, Wrights at second, Eric Young Jr. at third. Miami's infield, up the middle, playing for 2 with a 1 out, 2-2. It's out. It's full. A 3-0 lead has been slimmed to 3-1, and the Mets have the bags loaded. Dunn ready. Into left field, base hit, charging is Ozuna, right around third, headed home. Ozuna's throw to the plate. He is out at the plate. Perfect throw by Ozuna. Terry Collins may challenge this. He's on his way. He's going to ask David Wright.
He didn't have to change anything to slide. He slid the plate. He didn't have to alter anything.
I think he might think that he got to the plate before the tag was applied.
Yeah, he's not challenging that he had a lane. He's challenging.
Well, maybe he did.
He never touched the plate.
He did block it, though.
Catcher's obstruction or interference is not a challengeable play, but whether he tagged him in time, a manager can challenge that.
Don't change the game this way. That's a perfect throw from a left fielder, and you're going to challenge and go to a review.
I don't think they're challenging that he blocked the plate. I think they're challenging as to whether Wright got in under the tag.
Whatever happened to good hard baseball, good throw from left field, he was out. The throw beat him by 3 feet.
The tag was high. I don't think Wright got the plate as he slid in there.
Absolutely perfect throw by Ozuna.
We talked about it earlier, a right fielder's arm in left field.
And Tommy, you are right. They're actually looking to see if he blocked the plate, but he had the ball in plenty of time. As the rule reads, if you have the ball in that much time, I mean, he's literally waiting for him.
Let me ask you something. If he gives him a huge lane, the throw beat him by 3 feet, he still gets in. That's what you have to consider if you're the umpires. So once in a while, common sense has to come into play.
He's out, and as the rule,
okay, Tommy,
as the rule is written, if the
thank goodness,
if the throw is there, well,
because the game of baseball, as we know it, isn't going to be the same if all of a sudden that play has changed all the time.
Not a challenge. That's an umpire discretion. So the Mets keep their challenge. 7.13 is the rule, and it does not come into effect there. So there you go. It's a big play and a great throw by Ozuna. And now Wilmer Flores will pinch hit for Duda and pop it up, foul and out of play.
The throw was there so far in front of the runner that I thought there was no way that they would even consider blocking the plate. Counts 0-2.
That's what's tough. You can work on leaving runners' lanes and all that stuff in spring training, but instincts take over. Jared Saltalamacchia has caught the major league level for a long time.
And I think if you were to ask every major league catcher if they're in favor or against that rule, they would like it the way it used to be.
Absolutely.
That's part of the game.
Got him. Well, the bullpen gave up 2 runs, but not the lead. Thanks to Marcell Ozuna. Was the overhead look, and it was pretty definitive and pretty plain.
Watch the throw where it takes Jared Saltalamacchia. He has to reach to his left. So he has to go there to make the catch.
And that's part of the rule, guys, is if the throw takes the catcher into the lane and in front of the plate, he has the right to go there and catch the ball.
Yeah, there was no intent to block the plate there with that throw that Ozuna. I mean, perfect throw.
Big time throw. I mean, we've seen Ozuna make the throw from right. We've seen him make the throw from center. Now we've seen him make the throw from left.
And unfortunately, when you've got an arm like that, you can't really showcase it in center field. You know, at Marlins Park, it's a very deep park, so you're not going to have a lot of opportunities to get assists.
Jury's Familia into the ball game. Chris Young is going to stay into the ball game in center field. He's going to push Granderson over to right. Eric Campbell stays in the game. He's now in Lucas Duda's spot at first. And Familia faces Casey McGee and almost hits him. McGee, one of the Marlins that's having a good homestand, and there aren't a lot of them. McGee 1 for 3 in this ball game, 10 for 27. On the homestand.
like Casey McGee was trying to add to that home run total with that swing. I don't think he cared for that inside fastball too much.
You know, I think maybe early on, Niner, you've probably been around him around the batting cages more. But early on, the lack of home runs may have bothered him, but I don't know if it does now. I think he feels comfortable with himself, the way he's driving in runs.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's settled into a little niche here that he's having big success with, especially with the guys in front of him getting on base all the time, that he's happy.
McGee up the middle, sliding catch, Tejada, out.
Wow, what a play.
Whoa. That's close.
Yeah, that's close.
Mike Redmond cautiously exits the dugout. Let's have a look at it.
What a play by Tejada from his knees.
Just to have the presence to get that ball in the air to first base.
And the replay shows, at least from the Marlins perspective, that he's out. Back of the glove for the ball.
Yep.
Just before the foot.
Time.
What a play. I think the other thing, getting back to Casey, it's better conversation to say driven in 80, 90 runs and you've only got 4 or 5 or fewer home runs. That's a better conversation. I mean, anybody can drive in 90 runs and hit 20 home runs.
Exactly. You got to really work to drive in 90 runs with only 4 or 5 home runs.
That's a great point. A lot of clutch hits in there.
He's not getting the easy ones on 3-run homers.
Saltalamacchia, a couple doubles tonight. Cishek getting loose. Big shift is on. Saltalamacchia's second double was actually down the left field line. So Ozuna's throw to the plate was absolutely perfect. And that cuts down right, and it keeps it at 3-2. Mets will have the bottom third of their order due up. Pitching coach's best friend.
Yeah, that was great. That was great to see that.
Tell you what, the Mets got some heat in their bullpen coming out. Just 98 miles an hour on that last pitch.
You saw Vic Black last inning, even though the Marlins touched him up for a couple of runs, though, he came in firing.
He hit 97 miles an hour.
Marlins have seen 3 teams with losing records with really good bullpens on this homestand to the left. And it's caught there. I mean, the Pirates had just great arms that came out. The Cubs pen's been pretty good. And you've been talking about the Mets, and we documented last few weeks the Mets bullpen's been really good after an awful start in April. Here's Baker, second at bat.
A lot of talk about the Cubs struggling when they come in here, but over the last 30 games, they had the 4th best record in the National League. They've been playing some pretty good baseball.
Hey, they swept the Mets before they came in here.
Baker behind the count 0-2. Remember that Kansas City game in the bottom of the 5th? which was 5-0 Seattle. Salvador Perez and Mike Moustakas have both homered, and it's 5-5 now. Royals have come back to tie it. .98 miles an hour.
Nationals have tied up the Braves as well, 4-4.
Off Kimbrel.
Swing and a miss. Down goes Baker. In comes Cishek. A one-run lead to protect. Game show, a lot to talk about. It's presented by Checkers. After the ball game, Henderson Alvarez had a strong start. Jake Marisnick's had a nice day on the base pass.
I want to say that's not Carl sitting there. Where is Carl?
He's in his trailer. He's in the green room eating all the M&Ms.
Don't you miss the closeness that they'll have to the fireworks out there tonight?
That's right. We've saved you from the fireworks.
Thank you, guys. I really actually do appreciate that. My ears appreciate that.
Well, they're just as loud up here.
But I don't know. Out there, you just get the full force.
Do you get any of the ashes or anything?
Yes.
Really?
We get rained upon from the shrapnel from the fireworks.
Kirk Neuenhuis takes the at-bat. You've got Tejada and then Chris Young against Cishek. Bullpen has not had its best of nights tonight for Miami. After A.J. Ramos got a double play ball, Kevin Gregg and Mike Dunn both struggled in the eighth. Gregg a third of an inning, 2 hits, 2 runs. Dunn 2/3 of an inning, a hit, no runs, a walk, and a strikeout. Cishek's 2-0. Strike to Neuenhuis.
One of the things that Cishek's been so consistent with this year is to left-handed hitters. And if you remember, when he first arrived to the major leagues, lefties gave him a little bit of trouble, but he's been really good with that backdoor slider, just enough on the outside part of the plate.
Before he started his run of 33 straight, you remember last year it was against the Mets. The left-handers had really been pounding him hard. He had a kind of a turnaround series against the Mets last year that kicked off that 33 games streak where he went saved in a row, and ever since then he's been lights out.
(3-2) right field, hit well. Stanton over his head, off the wall. Neuenhuis can run, and he's got a double. And the Mets are back in business.
Well, he got in a position there where he had to go fastball, and Neuenhuis, pretty good fastball hitter, and he showed it.
You see where the location of this one is. Right down the middle.
Very close to catching that ball. This sets up a real interesting spot here. You've got Neuenhuis who can run at second base. You've got Tejada, who more than likely is going to try to bunt him over. Tejada has had trouble hitting this year at just 220. And remember, Steve Cishek in his career has had some issues throwing when fielding his position. So all that has to be considered with nobody out and a runner at second. Plus you've got some speed with Tejada. If he gets it down the third baseline, it looked like McGee was holding his ground at third. Baker's at first. Two and 0.
What's some wild games going on? You talked about Washington tying that game. At one point, Cincinnati had an 8-0 lead over Toronto. It's 9-9. Wow.
Cishek last worked on Tuesday night. Picked up his 16th save. No bunt there. Swinging away at 2-0. Tim Tuffle.
A member of the 1986 world champion Mets.
Cishek. 2-1 coming. Bunting. Drops it down. Baker gets the out, and the Mets are 90 feet away with one out in the ninth.
I think Terry Collins feeling, because a lot of times you wouldn't see a team on the road play a situation to tie a game, but I think he sees a chance to get it to a tie and just take their chances.
Well, it's Chris Young who came into the ball game, who was the hitter. Young, as a Met, you can see a 197 average. He has 173 at bats, 41 strikeouts. Infield in. Cishek. Breaking ball, strike one. This has not been a good spot for Young. 0-2. Cishek has gone right after him. Slider coming. Tying run at third. One out. Ninth inning. Just missed.
Boy, how did Young lay off that pitch?
It was out.
Still a tough pitch to lay off at that point in the at-bat. Going the slider again.
2-2 again. He's laid off 3 of them. After starting 0-2, count is full.
Cishek wants a slider.
3-2 coming. Breaking ball, fly ball, left field, deep enough. You would think Ozuna ahead of steam. Here comes the throw to the plate. Look at that play! Ball game! Marlins win it!
Unbelievable throw.
Touchdown, Neuenhuis! The best arm out of the bullpen tonight was in left field. Wow!
It looks like they're going to look at it.
The Mets can challenge, save or out. They have a challenge left. The Marlins are still on the field. He was not blocking the plate. A sweep tag with Neuenhuis coming from third. Neuenhuis thinks he's safe, as you saw his reaction. Has a lane.
Never even got there.
Didn't touch the plate. He's out. They just showed the replay. Fans reacted. He never touched the plate. He's out. Ball game.
Oh, what a finish.
2 of the better throws you're ever going to see from left field.
He timed it perfectly. He went back. He got a tremendous amount of momentum going toward the plate as he caught the ball to give him a little extra on the throw.
Remember Chuck Hernandez patting Ozuna on the head after the first throw? He may give him a hug right here.
Here's what you talked about, Tommy. Look at him get a full head of steam. He knows he's got to throw it all the way in the air. Neuenhuis got great speed. Absolutely perfect throw.
A right fielder's arm in left field pays off tonight. And he saves it for Henderson Alvarez, who picks up the win.
The challenge was on the tag, and it was there.
Cishek is fired up as well.
The Marlins win it 3-2. What a night for Henderson Alvarez and the rest of the Marlins. Alvarez 6 1/3, picks up the win, and Marcell Ozuna should get the save. Let's go down to Craig Minervini.
Rich, I'm not sure any Marlin has ever thrown out guys at the plate in the 8th and the 9th inning. Well, 2 unbelievable plays. Let's talk about the one in the 9th inning first of all. You went back so far, you really set yourself up well. Talk about that play of Marcell.
I just because I don't get hit, you know, I don't want to help the team on the offense, and I say, okay, if I try to make a good defense, I'm a good, and that's what I keep in the game.
On the fly, where you went running back, you see almost old school style, which gives you all that momentum. Did you feel like you're going to get enough because you weren't deep? That's a deep left field.
Yeah, that's what happens every time when I tell to my teammate, when you get that chance, throw it to home plate, no matter what. You know, you never know if the runner fall, you know, and you got a chance to make it out.
You're over in left field now, in center field because of the depth. It's hard for your arm to be the weapon that we saw was last year when you were over in right field. How about being in left and allowing the arm to play more part of the game now?
That's it. You know, I don't care about that because I'm focused and make a good defense and play anywhere because I want to be in the lineup every day.
But it is exciting to have the arm be back in the game.
Yeah, you know, I save it sometimes. You know, make a bad throwing because sometimes no get a good jump. Or sometimes, you know, stop the ball a little while, you know, to seam, cut. But when I get my time to get a firm to throw the ball, I feel good.
8th inning. What about the one with Wright? This was on the base hit where he's on second base. With the throw similar?
I'm in focus on I'm in focus when the people hit the ball. I'm in focus throw the ball down because the coaching bossy tell me every time throwing the ball down, you got a chance to make an assistant in other base.
That was on the bounce. The other was on a fly. 2 exciting plays. Were you worried at all about the rule with the catcher and the challenge?
I worry about it sometimes. I see Santiago Magia blocking a little bit, and I say it's okay. He's out because he got a chance first, and the ball arrived first.
You got to get him the ball in time now. Not only make a great throw, but that was exciting to watch. Who was your hero from an outfield arm standpoint? Who did you like, or maybe if you saw tape or other players with big arms?
I like when I was kid. I was watching Vladimir Guerrero. And Jose Guillen got a good run too, and that's what I like. No, Ichiro, Japanese, I like because he got a good throw every time, and Jose Bautista got a good throw too.
You ever end a game on a throw like that?
And the throw like that, I like it. No.
Have you ever ended a game on a play like that? You personally, throwing a guy out, a walk-off throw, if you will.
Versus the Mets last year, I was throwing the 12th inning.
Oh yeah.
I made it out of Murphy.
Right.
And save the game like that.
You did indeed. That game went, 16, 17. Great job. 19 innings, I think it was.
I appreciate it.
All right, thanks a lot. 20 innings was the final total there in that ball game, but that did keep it alive, as you recall. Not walk-off style, but it did save the ball game, a game the Marlins finally won. Back to you guys. Wow, 2 unbelievable plays.
What an absolute bullet.
That was impressive. That was impressive.
Those are his first 2 assists as a left fielder, too. How about that?
Well, on a night where the bullpen was shaky, Ozuna bails him out. I mean, he bailed out Dunn in the 8th, and he bails out Cishek in the 9th. Somebody owes somebody a couple of dinners.
A little steak dinner, maybe.
Kurt Neuenhuis thought he had home, and the Mets had a tie game. Marcell Ozuna thought otherwise. 3-2, Marlins win it.